piss on our cakes on it.
Whether it's critics or supporters, what did it mean to you?
Participation here obviously is historic. This has not been done by a transgender athlete before.
All I've ever wanted to be is myself, and I'm just so grateful that I've had the opportunity to come here and be me.
To come when you look back on this and your place in it, will you see it?
What drives me in sport, I think, is the sport itself, and this is the pinnacle event for weightlifting, as it is for so many sports. And I suppose really that's what's drawn me here, because anyone, I think, can train in their own time, but to actually be called to account on the platform when you've got 1 minute to make it all happen, that's the real test for, I suppose, anyone in weightlifting.
You seem like a quite private person. Can you talk a little bit about your decision-making process?
As some of you may know, I have never really been involved with sport because I'm looking for publicity or profile or exposure. And while I recognise that my involvement in sport is a topic of considerable interest to some, in some ways I'm looking forward to this being the end of, I suppose, my journey as an athlete and the attention that comes from it. I've tried not to dwell on, I suppose, negative coverage or negative perception, because it makes a hard job even harder. It's hard enough lifting a barbell, but if you're putting more weight on it, then it just, makes it an impossible task, really. One thing I will say, though, is that I think often a lot of negative coverage and negative perception is not really based on sort of, I suppose, evidence or principle, but rather it's based on emotion. That people are often reacting out of, I suppose, fear or discomfort. And I hope that in time they will open themselves up to a broader perspective.
Reluctant as an athlete in that regard, but what's your hope?
I'm not sure that a role model is something that I could ever aspire to be. Instead, I hope that just by being here, I can provide some sense of encouragement. And I just hope that if people are undergoing any difficulty or struggle within their lives, not necessarily related to sport, but to anything really, that they can perhaps see that there are opportunities in the world, that there are opportunities to live authentically and as we are.
What's next for you? Do you want to continue competing?
I don't think it should be historic. I think that as we move into a sort of new and more understanding world, people are starting to realise that people like me are just people. We are human, and as such, I hope that just by being here, that's enough.
Positive coverage of your appearance at these games. There's also been negative.
Thank you. Good luck, Will. Thanks, Laurel. Thanks, Laurel. Can I give you a couple words?